We have yet another major court decision that says, yes, Donald Trump's tax returns can and should be turned over to the New York State criminal investigators that are investigating him, which is yet another failed attempt by Donald Trump to prevent the release of those tax returns. Now, I assume that this will be appealed to the Supreme Court. Maybe by the time you watch or listen to this story, it already will have been. We will see if the Supreme Court ultimately takes the case. But if so, that is increasingly Donald Trump's Supreme Court, and they may well find in his favor. So I'll reset the details for you. There is a criminal investigation going on into Donald Trump and into Donald Trump's business. It's happening at the New York State level. They attempted to obtain Donald Trump's taxes and the taxes of Donald Trump's business for the investigation. This was blocked. This was ignored initially. Lawsuits were filed. This went to court. One court said it is correct and okay for the documents to be turned over to the investigators. Donald Trump's lawyers appealed. And once again, yesterday, another court said it is okay for Donald Trump's taxes to be given to the investigators. This was the Second District Federal Appeals Court. Trump's federal lawyer, another one of them, this guy's name is William Consovoy. He's been arguing all along that on the one hand, this is merely a politically motivated fishing expedition, so it's wrong. But on the other hand, he's also arguing you can't investigate a sitting president anyway. Now, the entire premise is very legally dubious. We do have the Justice Department memos, which are really about policy. They're not about the law, which say it is not the policy of the federal Justice Department to charge a sitting president. Now, that has nothing to do with investigating a sitting president. And also, that's the federal Justice Department. We are talking here about the state of New York investigating Donald Trump. So to any sensible person looking at the basics of this, Donald Trump is working inordinately hard to prevent the release of his taxes. No doubt the release of his taxes would be bad for him. The question is, in what way would it be bad? That's still up in the air. Will it expose that Donald Trump isn't as rich as he claims to be? Would it expose financial fraud committed by Donald Trump? We don't really know. But what's important to understand about this ruling is that almost definitely it will be appealed to the Supreme Court and the release of the taxes will be put on hold. But just as importantly, and a lot of people emailing me are missing this, this is about whether Donald Trump's taxes can be released to state investigators. This is not about giving them to Congress or the public. Now, they certainly might leak. But even if the taxes are given to state investigators, if and until there's a trial of some kind, in principle, this will not make the taxes public, again, unless they are leaked, which is always a possibility. But ultimately, if the Supreme Court takes this case, and my guess is that they will, otherwise Donald Trump's taxes get sent to investigators, it becomes up to the Supreme Court, which is made up of some justices that Donald Trump personally selected, who will get to decide whether our systems of checks and balances are effectively not nullified. And what you have to understand is that this administration has been a total scofflaw, flouting the law on dozens of requests and subpoenas. This is one we're hearing about because the topic of Trump's taxes is more widely interesting. But by one analysis, this year alone, the Trump administration has either blocked or ignored more than 86 subpoenas and requests. We may eventually see Trump's taxes, we may not. But the real battleground here is that of the long-lasting importance of the issue of what is the power of the presidency to ignore the checks and balances that we have? Do checks and balances really still exist when the president is able to get away with ignoring any of the ones that they don't like? And so far, Donald Trump is winning big. I mean, just like really big on that issue. If we don't change that, the implications will be far-reaching than simply during the Trump administration. We'll take a quick break. Give us a like on Facebook at facebook.com/David Pakman Show. We will talk upcoming about the California wildfires. We will talk about many more things, as well as Andrew Yang. Interesting Andrew Yang story coming up.